My dear, every unread message is a ghost of the love I never dared to say. The silence after my story isn't empty. It's where your name still echoes. I told the stars your name in my story. Did they reach your soul? Every word in my story was a map pointing straight to your heart. My pain wasn't a tale. It was a prayer only you could hear. The love I shared there was a secret light, hoping you'd catch its glow. My story bled truth you never wanted it to face, but needed to see. You saw my story, but closed your eyes to the parts that mattered. I whispered my soul's cracks in that story, praying you'd hold the pieces. My story was a mirror, reflecting everything you refused to admit. The words you skipped were the ones begging for your forgiveness. Did my story shatter your illusion, or did you turn away again? I shared my ghosts, hoping you'd dance with them instead of fleeing. Every pause in my story was a breath taken in your absence. I framed my heartbreak there, waiting for your hand to reach through. My story was an echo of the love you lost before it began. The silence after my story screamed everything I couldn't say aloud. You read my pain, but did you feel the part still beating for you? My story was a secret invitation to walk through the fire with me. I wrote my soul naked, hoping you'd recognize the shape of us. The shadow of my story still lingers in the space between us. Every word I left unsaid became a ghost haunting your conscience. My story was a love letter wrapped in the language of goodbye. The tears behind my story were seeds of a love you never watered. Did you see my story, or just the mask I wore to survive? I poured my scars into those words, praying they'd heal your wounds too. My story was a river, and you were the tide I lost to the moon. Every heartbeat in that story was a silent scream for your return. I carried our unfinished love there, like a flame begging for air. The truth in my story was a knife cutting through your denial. Did you see me, or just the shadow I cast in your memory? My story wasn't a cry for pity, but a plea for understanding. I traced your absence in every word, hoping you'd find the path back. The story I told was a mirror. You just refused to look. I left my soul's fingerprints in that story, waiting for your touch. Every silence after my story was a question with no answer. I built a bridge from my story. Did you dare to cross it? The love in my story still lingers, even when you turn away. I danced with my pain there, hoping you'd join the rhythm. My story was a secret garden you never dared to enter. Did you see my story, or was it just noise in your chaos? I bled honesty in that story, hoping it'd seep into your heart. My story was a lighthouse. Did you see the signal or sail past? I whispered your name between lines, praying you'd hear it loudest. The story I told was a confession I never had courage to say. Every word in my story was a tear you never saw fall. Did you see my story, or just the ghost of what we were? My story was a soul's outcry. Did you catch its silent plea? I painted our love in shadows there, hoping you'd fill the light. The silence after my story was the loudest part of my heartbreak. I gave you my truth, wrapped in stories only broken hearts tell. Did my story haunt you or comfort the parts you left behind? My story was a silent prayer, sent straight to your closed heart. I exposed my wounds there, waiting for your healing hands. Did you see my story, or just the empty space between the lines? My story was a mirror for your soul. Did you dare to reflect? I bled my love into those words, hoping they'd reach your soul. The story I told was a ghost still lingering in your mind. I shared my scars in that story, hoping you'd see the beauty too. Did my story break you or build the bridge back to me? My story was a spark. Did you feel the fire or ignore the flame? I whispered love in that story, even when your silence screamed louder. Every word was a piece of me you never took the time to hold. My story was a secret dance only you could hear the rhythm of. Did you see the love buried deep inside my story's pain? I told my truth there, hoping it'd wake your sleeping heart. The silence after my story was the weight of what we lost. I wrote us there, in shadows and light, waiting for your eyes. Did you see my story, or just the outline of my broken heart? My story was a beacon for the love you left behind. I poured my soul out in that story. Did you catch the fragments? Every unread word was a love note meant only for you. Did my story haunt your dreams or soothe your restless nights? I bled my heart into that story, hoping it'd heal your own. My story was a silent scream for the love that slipped away. Did you see the scars behind my story's quiet voice? I gave you my story, hoping you'd find the missing piece. The love I lost was written between every line of my story. Did you see my story, or just the shadow of what we could have been? If this touched your soul, don't scroll, like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. My story was a prayer wrapped in pain, sent to the universe for you. Every word I wrote was a heartbeat waiting for you to listen. Did you see the cracks where my love shone brightest? I told my story in silence, hoping your heart would hear the noise. My love was the secret thread woven through every line of my story. Did my story find you, or just fade into your forgetfulness? I left pieces of us scattered in that story, waiting for your return. The truth in my story was a mirror shattering your denial. I bled hope in every word, praying it'd mend your broken soul. Did you see my story, or just the ghost of a love lost? My story was a lighthouse in the fog. Did you find your way? Every silence after my story was a question only you could answer. I told my story naked, hoping you'd see the soul beneath. Did my story haunt you or heal the wounds you hid? I wrote my love there, even when you chose to look away. My story was a silent prayer, hoping to awaken your heart. Did you see the love I lost inside the spaces of my story? I whispered truth into my story, hoping it'd reach your soul. My story was a light flickering in the darkness. Did you see it? The love I shared there was a secret song only your heart knows. My story was a silent prayer sent into your night. Did you hear it? I wrote love in invisible ink, hoping you'd decode its meaning. Did my story unravel the walls you built to hide from me? I spilled my soul's secrets there, hoping you'd treasure them. Every word I wrote was a piece of a love you abandoned. My story was a whisper on the wind, meant to find your heart. I painted our love in shadows, waiting for you to add color. Did you see my story, or just the ghost of who I was? I told my story, hoping you'd read between the broken lines. My love bled through every letter. Did you catch its scent? The silence after my story is the loudest cry you'll never hear. I left my heart there, folded between words only you could unfold. Did my story break your silence or deepen the distance between us? I wrote us in the stars, praying you'd read the constellation. My story was a flame. Did you feel its heat or just smoke? I whispered love in code, hoping your soul could decipher it. Did you see my story or just the shadow of your own regrets? My story was a reflection of everything you tried to forget. I told my truth, naked and raw, hoping you'd see past the pain. Every word I wrote was a heartbeat reaching for your soul. Did you catch the tears hiding behind my story's smile? I bled my love into the silence, waiting for your echo. My story was a beacon. Did it guide you or leave you lost? I left my soul exposed, hoping you'd recognize its fragile beauty. Did you see my story or just the cracks in your own heart? I told my story so you'd feel the love I couldn't say aloud. My words were a river, hoping to wash away your walls. Did my story haunt your dreams or bring you peace at last? I wrote my soul's secrets for you, hoping you'd carry them gently. Every silence after my story is a wound waiting for your touch. Did you see my story or just the ghost of our faded love. I shared my pain, hoping you'd see the strength behind the tears. My story was a prayer written on the wind, sent to you alone. Did my words open doors or lock them tighter in your heart? I wrote love's last breath in my story, hoping you'd catch it. Did you see my story, or only the shadow of your own fear? My story was a mirror. Did you dare to look at yourself? I bled honesty into every line, hoping you'd find the courage to listen. Did you see my story, or just the silence that followed? I told my truth like a candle flickering in your dark night. Every word was a piece of my soul, hoping for your embrace. Did you catch the echoes of my love hiding between the lines? I painted my heartbreak in words, hoping you'd recognize the art. My story was a secret dance between hope and despair. Did you see my story, or just the shadow of the love you lost? I wrote my soul naked, hoping you'd cherish its rawness. Every silence after my story is a question without an answer. Did my story heal your wounds or deepen the scars you hide? I whispered love through the cracks in my story, hoping you'd listen. My story was a flame waiting for your breath to ignite it. Did you see my story, or only the ghost of what might have been? I wrote love's last prayer, hoping you'd hear it in the silence. Every word was a heartbeat lost in the space between us. Did my story reach your soul or fade in your forgetfulness? I bled truth into every letter, hoping you'd feel the depth of us. My story was a lighthouse shining through the fog of our past. Did you see my story, or just the echo of my broken heart?